first first name and last name as per the PMI. Today we are delving into the topic that's everyone mind, product thinking for non-product organizations by our speaker Fatima. Fatima is a principal product manager at Agilibo, and she is a vice president product lead within the Wells Fargo Germany. She is also a PMI instructor for PMI ACP. She is an international coach, mentor, trainer, and a speaker. PMIPCC Agile series being her favorite sessions. With over 16 years of work experience in IT and over 10 years of Agile across domains like banking, social media, and ERP, she works at an intersection of strategy, delivery, and people, helping organizations adopt product and Agile mindsets to create a real business impact. Over to you, Fatima. Fatima, you are on mute. You are on mute, Fatima. You're speaking, but you are on mute. Still, you are on mute. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was showing you have to allow me from host today. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Um, Thank you for joining today. And before we start, I just want to make clear that, you know, or reassure you that this session is not about turning everyone into product managers or product owners, or asking finance or other operation or support teams to suddenly start behaving like a startup or all of a sudden into a product based organization roles. So do not worry, the session is going to be very different. So let me share my slides. And Verma, thank you very much for introducing me. I was just surprised when you mentioned 100 years. Okay. Yeah, here are my slides. Guys, is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, basically, I'm going to talk about product thinking for non-product based organization, and how we are going to move forward is we are going to typically discuss towards after we understand a couple of slides in the starting. Um, the case study which I've actually done as a part of my project. I'm going to discuss few of those slides in detail. And here is my LinkedIn, scan me if you would like to connect with me. So this session is really about how real teams, when I'm saying real teams, it's just like yours and mine, created real impact without changing any org structures, tools, or job titles. Okay. Traditionally, product thinking has been confined to product teams itself, okay, or product-based organizations running product teams. But we will see how it benefits every function in the organization, not just people creating products for external customers. All right. Wait, guys, just a minute. Yes, I'm so sorry about the interruption. It's just that my screen went off sharing mode. Okay. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
So as I was,
Yeah,
thank
Fatima.
you so much. Uh, so as I was saying, we are basically going to look at how different is product thinking when it is applied to support teams or in a way where product is actually applied as a thinking, not just the value delivered as a product. So, how different it is, or how it already works for you. Okay, so how it already works for you is traditional product thinking has been confined only to certain functions. By shifting from output focused, okay, when I'm saying output focused mindset to outcome driven approach to our day-to-day activities, to the tasks which we are completing or service-based requests we are serving for internal clients. This unlocks new opportunities for growth and innovation. So turning challenges into advantages for these teams, basically. So the key is to start thinking like a product manager, focusing on user needs, like continuously optimizing for the results, the value as a team which you're producing. So this presentation will be a kind of a roadmap activity for you for infusing, product thinking throughout your organization, not just at product team levels. So this is going to empower everyone for meaningful outcomes for your customers. Basically, what is happening? Organizations today are at under tremendous pressure to deliver, to sustain, and that to deliver faster, not just as deliver, but also to deliver faster while improving experiences as well as business outcomes for both internal stakeholders and external customers. So let's start by unpacking what we really mean to say by using the word product in this context. So, guys, anyone want have an input? What is a product? So, generally, what I've seen is when people hear about product thinking or a product, I often see one of the two reactions or responses from people. So, one of them being people who are familiar with it are quite excited and they just start saying that, yes, finally, we can think about something else. Second, what I see is quite disagreement. Okay, that's not for us. And we tend to make a face and say, okay, let us try something else. So let me ask you something. You know, how many of you don't work in a product, but still deliver something every week? So let me reframe my question. So how many of you don't work in a product or a product team, but still deliver something of value every week, every day, or every iteration, however you're doing it? So, how many of you are doing it? I hope at least you have answered to it saying that yes, every week you are delivering some kind of value, right? So, despite of delivering this, still you hear complaints about escalations and frustrations, right? You still hear a lot of people complaining, this is not done, this is still pending, a lot of escalations, cycle time was increased, I have been waiting in the queue for 1 week or whatever my ticket, nobody has approached me, right? All these things happen. So this tells us something very important, if you deliver something regularly to someone, you already have a product in place, basically. So here this again, if you're delivering something regularly to everyone, you already have a product in place. So you just may not be treating as a product as if now and considering it just as a service. Getting my point, guys? So you're already doing something which you have already been doing from quite a long time. However, you have just been considering so far whatever you're doing or the service you're offering as a service, not as a product. Okay. So and often the teams end up saying, we are always busy all the time. Our work never ends. We hit the numbers, but still feel like something is lagging, missing. Customer complaints are always there, or your stakeholder complaints are always there. So if the work isn't the problem, what is the problem? Have you guys ever thought about, if the work you're delivering, service you're offering each time, every week to the requested stakeholders? However, what is the problem here? Probably it is just the way you're thinking how the success will look like for your work. It is just a thought process like, are you focusing on the right outcomes? So the core problem we are addressing today is difference between output thinking and outcome thinking. So output thinking basically, as I was saying, it focuses only on um, the metrics like task completed, volume, realizing activity over the actual impact of the work getting done. So this can lead to be hitting hard targets, but still leaving stakeholders unsatisfied. Okay. On the other hand, outcome thinking prioritize customers or the service you're offering to the customers, and it is truly aligned with stakeholders' value, what they are looking for, and satisfaction. And that is what we are trying to achieve in our day-to-day goal, right? At the end of the day, that is our goal. So understanding this fundamental difference is the key or a crucial first step, towards building more effective stakeholder-centric processes or services or products for that matter for within for or within your organization and teams. So now let us quickly go over what core problems or outcomes I have been speaking about. As I was just saying, on the left, we are talking about, let me walk you through output thinking. Features delivered focus is completely on number of items delivered instead of quality or impact. Projects completed, have we met the SLAs? What is our local optimization rate? Or have we hit the targets and still customers are unhappy? However, when we actually look at outcome-based thinking, what we are looking at, problem solving. Basically, we are talking about problem solving. Behaviors changed both of your team members as well as your stakeholders. And what is the value realized by a service you're offering to your stakeholders? It is not just how many number of tickets, what we have delivered as a outcome. And of course, end-to-end impact is also mattering at constantly from the initiation or inception till you have delivered the service. So a stakeholder once actually told me everything was delivered, yet nothing was improved. And often it happens, right? A lot of when you go for your leadership or status update meetings with your bosses and managers, they often say, yeah, 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 work done, yeah, this is done. But they are never satisfied. That aha moment for them is never achieved. So why it is happening? It's of course very upsetting to hear all this kind of feedbacks from our managers in spite of delivering or meeting our SLAs, yet it happens. So the product thinking is now comes into picture once you start thinking on the lines of product, basically. So product, what I how I will say it is a role or a structure. It's a decision-making mindset, not as a role or a structure or what is being delivered to the customers as to external customers. But if you start thinking of it as a decision-making mindset where we want to move forward as a team. So let me make that difference visible to you. So more so most non-product organizations are deeply optimized only to say for outputs. Again, the real problems are never looked at it. Tickets closed, SLAs met, is our utilization rate high? So the key frame is we need here is every function in an organization, not just or product teams basically, should be focused on delivering great experience, not just service. I'm now shifting my focus on experience we are offering to people, both internal and external customers, however you're working on. So if you're offering some service, create an experience. We will dive into this mindset actually in the further slides. So, understanding your customers, who you are serving, is critical. We need to deeply empathize, okay, with their pain points and needs. Solving real problems is of key importance rather than focusing on just symptoms. Identifying the root cause is very important of everything, why you're doing this, why this ticket has come into picture, how are we serving, identifying the root cause just instead of, looking at symptoms. So I again once worked with the team that closed thousands of tickets a month. It was a huge team. They were close to 20 people, and they were actually giving the output of 1,000 tickets closed each month. However, by the end of the day, what we were seeing is efficiency and morale was still low. Each time, whenever the team members used to ask, okay, it was just another day, and so it was for stakeholders as well. So output thinking basically rewards, you know, activity, not impact. So this is the distinction here, guys. Activity versus impact. The real goal is in every function of the organization to think like a product, not be a product team, just think like a product team, always keeping or giving customers what they want or utilizing that customer centricity over and all. Any questions so far, guys? Anyone want to share something? Anything that comes to your mind? Okay, now let me show you how this played out in a very non-product organization which I was working for. I was asked to help them. So basically, how it played out. So this begins to a case study I did sometime back home when I was working with one of the organizations, and it is a very personal experience I'm sharing with you all. So I'll give you a quick minute to go through the slide before I start talking about it. Meanwhile, any questions, you can place it in the chat. This, as I was saying, this is a very personal experience. So this case study emerges basically from a mid-sized global shared services organization, and this focuses on critical back office functions um, across finance, HR, and procurement. So it was having close to 40 plus complex processes, okay, which we were able to figure out, and out of which we prioritized a couple of them, like invoices, payroll, vendor, and compliance. So typically, how we do it, right? It is we can't really focus on all 40 processes. So we started small, showing priority to the customers that low-hanging fruits, how we can deliver value. So we chose a couple of them initially and post Couple of them like invoices, basically support tickets, payroll, vendors, and compliances. And this wasn't an innovation work. This was a um, business critical, high pressure, invisible work that these teams were doing. However, there was no appreciation or impact that was showing. Continuously, they used to be under the eyes of all the stakeholders that work being not delivered. Hence, we wanted to try something unique with them. So the organization, this organization which I'm talking about, manages over 40 complex processes, both internal and stakeholder base, internal as well as external stakeholder base. So what were the KPIs measured? Included invoices per day, support tickets closed within SLAs, and then reports delivered or scheduled. Despite consistently meeting these KPIs, okay, on regular basis, there was a constant, persistent pressure on these team members for dissatisfaction of stakeholders continuously. So when the team did things right, nobody actually said wow or anybody noticed. However, something went wrong, everybody noticed and started complaining. And it often happens with us also, right? Especially in shared services teams, we often see that one missed SLA for them or any delay, we all complain. However, when it gets completed on time, nobody notices or say thank you. It's a very thankless work. So let's look at the success factors that defined or changed them for better. So let's talk a little bit more about, disgrunting stakeholders. So payment delays were disrupted, vendor relationship was not s- staying intact, and of course, onboarding process of vendors was also very slow, or it was not transparent at all. Efficiency was compromised, and further issues were cropping up like a domino effect, one thing reacting with another and showing up as issues. Manual errors were leading to rework and reconciliation of the payments, payable details, and reimbursements, all were causing burdens. Employees were frustrated, and quarter end, everybody used to be afraid, how are we going to manage? And so were stakeholders. While the dashboards may or was showing as green, green, green metrics, however, on ground reality was relationships and everything was in red. It was like a hot cake running around and trying to manage stuff, firefighting all the battles. So does this any of these issues sound familiar to you with the teams you're working on? Great to hear. Thank you. So number of invoices, processes, reports created, nothing was happening. So, and everything on the dashboard's green, relationships were not working. Yet, meeting targets does not always, meeting targets does not always mean that meeting needs of the people. You're getting me? Meeting targets does not always mean meeting need of the people. So that is like the distinction factor, differentiator, which we have to understand. So meeting targets does not mean meeting the needs of the people. So once we start thinking from that mindset, the transition happens. Because this is a very complicated topic for me as well. I'm just trying to bridge the gap and help you understand this better. As you know, not a lot of people have tried it, and this is also my first time sharing this experience. So I just don't want to break the gaps. Okay. So basically, this was again a obsession. driven, output based activities that these guys were doing on continuous basis. So how we shifted the mindset from there uh, to a new way of thinking is this is where leadership made it very intentionally pivot that we are going to now try something else. So what we did, so they didn't add any tools. Actually, we pivoted from that mindset to something new. So they didn't. One thing is like the cost remained same. The people in the organization remained same. There was no restructure. There was no reorg, and they didn't even add any new tools. However, we just reframed financial ops teams, which were doing all this service related work for internal and external customers and teams from financial ops to financial experience team. As I was saying, creating that experience for your customers, meeting their needs is important. So what we did was we created this as financial experience product. We just in the first place reconceptualized the entire thing and started delivering value as such. So everything remained the same. It's just from the perspective of mindset and naming your customer, as we call it. Okay. So we started calling them as financial experience teams or financial experience product on the whole at LOB level. So this is not a reorg, not a new role, as I was saying, not a new tool. It was a mindset shift. It took us time, definitely. It took us close to 2 to 3 weeks or sprints, 4 weeks, 2 weeks of two sprints and 4 weeks of time to basically help them, come to the mindset of this. You are no longer in finance ops teams. This is a experience product, financial experience product. So once the team members started acknowledging it, again, they started shifting their mindset. It doesn't happen overnight, totally agreed, but then it has to start somewhere. So you have your own enablers and people in the game who are constantly iterating and reiterating the idea. So what we did next was, um, again, the key idea here is that we reframe from from operations to a financial experience product. So our customer base and a thought of customer base shifted. So this included our vendors again, okay, how we were serving them, internal teams, leadership, auditors, employees, anyone who interacts with our finance processes, anyone who was interacting with our finance processes. What we did, we emphasized that if someone experiences our processes, basically, you own a product. So we need to start thinking about our operations in this way going forward. Was the goal we were trying to achieve to create that smooth, effective, efficient, and valuable financial organization for the entire stakeholders, just like we did for the world as a product. So we started creating that experience, guys. With me so far, am I able to make sense how uh, things moved and how we moved the needle? Okay, great. Thank you for the heads up. And the first thing that mindset forces you to do is identify your customers. As you have already identified your customers, you already have people in place. Shifting and acknowledging that is the starting point of a change. So what was our core plan? Now let's look at what was a core plan. That was the concept, how we put it into action. So how we put it into action, as you see it on the slide here. Um, the moment, to continue from our last slide, the moment you named your customers who you are giving your service to, and now instead of service, providing them an outcome-based delivery instead of long queues and customer, ticket counts or efficiency rate. what we did was we used this three-stage process basically, as you see it here. So we use this three-stage processes: discovery, problem statement, and solution experiments. This allowed us to systematically identify issues, clear problem statements, and test potential solutions. At every stage, we did something new. First, during the discovery phase, what we did, we gathered insights and observed users to understand their key needs, including accuracy, speed, predictability, and transparency. What is happening on the ground level? So then we phrased a problem statement looking at what we gathered. So we defined clear, actionable issues such as vendors lacking predictability, onboarding process lacking transparency, um, which was causing delays and uncertainty. Finally, in the solution space, okay, experiments were happening. So we tried conducting these experiments to test our theories and ideas. It was, of course, a theory at that stage, guys. It was something very new and unique we were trying to attempt. So we started doing multiple experiments side by side, which worked for us and what we can learn from it. So we tested ideas like visual trackers. Will it work for the teams? Okay. Then we tried triage systems to check for payments. Will it work for the stakeholders as well as teams and people who are working with it? Then we did tried automation of scripts at some places. Can we actually, repeating activities, can we automate it? Again, that was a thought. We tried a couple of things. And weekly alignment meetings, we continuously started placing with stakeholders. Actually, this addressed the problem to a greater extent because where team members were initially hiding, okay, we still have time, it is still not getting completed. The communication started happening freely, and they were actually saying, okay, we still have time, we will get back to you. So that reassurance started building. And this structured a process of culture of continuous improvement also because continuously team members were providing feedback to uh, the stakeholders and required people who are waiting for their service. So what changed? So what changed, as you see, is metrics shift. Teams stopped asking what we deliver and started asking actually the questions like what matters. At the end of the day, are we creating the experience? So, what we have seen, accuracy, speed, predictability, transparency, okay, all this were changing for the teams. And no one now asked for more reports. Instead, everybody was looking for fewer surprises, no escalations. Okay, that was the game changer for most of them. They said, okay, instead of those running around for reports and sending them out, asking for efficiency rate, a number of tickets closed, now everybody were like, okay, do not provide us surprises, let us work. Because this was again something very new. Everybody was in a state of mind, will it work? And should it work? So there was a constant attention from all the people, especially the coaches who were working with them, to keep the mindset and the vibe high for this to work. So this is the shift from order takers to problem solvers. If you notice, from order takers to problem solvers, how they are actually creating real value in the system they are working. So the old metrics we used to track were focused on outputs. Old metrics, invoice processed, and tickets closed, SLAs, and delivered on time reports. So these were old metrics. However, this metrics encouraged to focus on efficiency and speed, but didn't necessarily reflect what the true value. It was focusing more on efficiency and speed while we were providing customers and stakeholders some valuable, tangible benefit out of it. So from old metrics to new metrics, what were the new metrics? Of course, vendor satisfaction scores. in the form of NPS or a happiness index for the vendors, and also SLA adherence for critical tasks, error reduction, and of course, improvements in cycle time and weekly alignment with departments. We started aligning weekly alignments with number of various departments now working in financial experience teams, not financial ops teams. So again, a mindset shift, and people started working from that thought process. So these metrics help us to stay aligned with really what matters. Okay. New metrics helped us align with really what matters, creating value for customers and stakeholders, not just optimizing internal processes. So was not just optimizing internal processes, it was creating real tangible value for customers. That is your uh, services which you have been providing now became a part of a product. So transition from output to outcome metrics is a key part of our strategic shift. Okay, key part. From asking from number, amount, how much done, what was the value, what was the experience, was the key shift. And this changed, shifted from more customer centric to more impact driven deliveries. Impact driven deliveries. The change in metrics also shaped the behavior of the people and and people started in the teams focusing on again impact, experience. Activities became more meaningful and business results were clear. So basically, what happened? Uh, team. So basically, what happened was team moved from perfection to progress needle. They moved the needle from perfection to progress. So progress was important. From perfection to progress, they moved. And the team started asking or saying that how busy we are and started thinking, how can we make customers or people who are looking for our service life better? So within 6 months, what were the results? Within 6 months, what we saw actually was um, faster onboarding, reduced defects, and metrics demonstrated teams' product thinking approach. Okay, how they were thinking now instead of ops team, they were thinking as a financial experience product, and it has transformed their shared services function into an internal success story. Okay, eventually it became a success story because they transformed their thinking and now they were creating impact, value, a real-time value for the customers, not just actually going about closing SLAs or closing number of tickets closed per person was no longer of importance. So from 17 days to 6 days, and I'm particularly proud of 42% decrease in payment errors and 28% increase in stakeholder satisfaction, basically. So these are tangible benefits that really showcased how our team, like our coaches team, actually got involved and created this change for them. So how we offered value in the form of resetting this process and into product thinking mode. So, and also we also saw, people were not very stressed at quarter end. So that was a great non-tangible value that added to our happiness for assisting these teams. So these outcomes highlight how our focus on user needs and iterative development has paid off. So setting us up for continued success. So they went from being this team basically financial ops team to financial experience team. Instead of being a bottleneck, from being a bottleneck, they started becoming a trusted partners. And that was the story which we said and how it emerged for us. So this was our experiment, and this is how it ran, guys. On closing, I would like to just say that just take a minute for this slide to sink in. You can try this in your own organization, in your own teams as well. Something very different. However, we I am your success story with this, so you can definitely give it a try. Typically don't need product titles to think like a product, right? So what does it actually mean for you? This team didn't become a product team, they became a value team. That is the game changer for everybody by the end of this. How this success story lands is um they from instead of becoming a product team, they became a value team. So let me leave you with one final question. Okay, the question is, if your teams were a product, what experience would your customer complain about today? Okay, take a minute to think about it. If your team were a product, what experience would your customer complain about today? Because that complaint can actually be your biggest opportunity to solve something and create a real value. Thank you, everybody. That is my
Thank
PPT, and I'm ready for questions, I think. Over to you, Verma. I'm done. Thank you.
thank you, Fatima. Thank you so much. Uh, Quick question and answers. Please raise
Yeah.
your hands if you have any questions. Yep, Shanti, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Thank you, Varun. Thanks, Tasneem, for the overall walkthrough. Again, every story is great after it is successful, but I would like to ask you some questions in the initial part of the journey. When we want to go ahead and try these things, we have great support from a lot of people, but a few people are always stuck on their own thought process. If you have any
Yeah.
suggestions of if you experience something like that, or if you have tips on how did you break it?
Basically, of course, there will be, resistance from a lot of people while you want to try something new. Sometimes you have to take them along by coaching them, helping them understand your case, or getting your stakeholder support. However, sometimes you just have to say them that they exist, acknowledge that they exist and move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah. And being a coach, actually, I have seen a lot of resistance in my coaching sessions everywhere. Whenever you try something new, it always happens, right? So you can coach them to a certain extent, try to get them along. Sometimes you can try to win them over by providing small fruits that, okay, this is a change that can actually sustain and happen. However, post that, if it is not working, you can only show them result and help them enroll in your idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please feel free to raise your hands or unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Yeah, hi Fatima. Thanks for this session. It is really a great thought process because a lot of places we have operations management, and this is something related to project management, right? And then you have merged it both together. So I think this is a good thing to try out in all the operations management related stuff. Let me also try out in my operations related activities. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you very much. Yes, it was a unique experiment. To be honest, nobody was sure when our manager actually said this is a thing, and we started brainstorming on ideas or what can be done about this. It was something very unique, and there was, of course, as Shanti was saying, it was a lot of resistance. Nobody wanted to change. They always said everything worked, then why should we even go for it? However, looking at the, customer escalation rate and non-satisfied stakeholders and customers continuously complaining. They were a major bottleneck. So that smoothing was so important for those teams. So I did my best, guys, to explain you how the process went, but it was quite complicated. So I started putting it into the place and giving you the output of it. I hope it was good enough for you. And in further future, if you're trying this, reach out to me over LinkedIn. I am ready to, brainstorm it with you how you can try doing it as well if
Yeah.
you're willing to
Ravishankar
try
has a
it.
question. Ravishankar.
Hey Ravi, I think you're speaking on mute. Or no? Ravi Shankar? Okay, we can take this offline. I think he has some network issues. Any other questions, guys? Ravi Shankar, if you are speaking, we can't able to hear you. Okay, in the interest of time, we will be going forward. Fatima will be answering your questions offline. If you have any things, please reach out to her via LinkedIn. I hope you already connected with her on LinkedIn on the previous slides that she has shared. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you for your fantastic session.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, we are.
I'm delighted you all were present. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hope it added value, guys. Any feedback, I'm open to it. Please write there.
yeah, we are so grateful to you, Fatma, for sharing your expertise in truly a wonderful and unique gesture. From the PMIPCC Parallel City chapter, Hyderabad chapter, has honored you with the thickest of three trees for leopards at Nainital District, Uttarakhand, for this session. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's so exciting. Thank you. I'm not in India. I would love to go back and see the my trees.
Yeah, and a quick reminder, your PD will be automatically created after a week if you have provided your correct PMI ID. If not, please write an email to events@pmipcc.org. And we are glad to announce the next KSS session is on 14th Feb 2026. Our speaker is Mr. Ashit Rajala. We'll take you through the practical insights of strengthening judgment, decision, and making relevance in the AI enablement delivery environment. Kindly register for the upcoming session with registration link shared via email. And please do take a minute to fill out the feedback form. This will help us to get even better going forward.
I see Ravi Shankar's question in the chat, Norma, if you can see it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
able to really understand. So he's asking, does customer weight this shift drive towards product thinking as they quickly look for results? Can you please help me explain it
Ravi
better,
Shankar, can
Ravi?
you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Question is simple. Does the customer weight the shift drive product thinking? Ask look quickly.
You able to hear now? Sorry.
Yeah. We are able to hear you now.
Yeah. Thank you for the nice session, Fatima. My question is, now it is completely perspective is different, where we are more focused on product and customer result. I mean, it's outcome oriented. But this definitely on the teams, the mindset will take time to adjust and mold accordingly. This
Mhm.
time span, does customer will wait till the team delivers the product or outcomes?
It was happening simultaneously, Ravi.
Okay.
However, the real changes, what we started seeing was post 3 months period. After 1 quarter, we started seeing change. So, and after 2 quarters of 6 months, the real changes were very reflective. If you see the last slide,
Yeah.
it was saying from 17% to 14%, 14
Okay.
days. Okay,
Okay.
so the cycle time also got reduced. And that was the brilliance we saw after 6 months. However, you have to be consistent, right? You can't just say one time we are doing something and leave it. So
Yeah.
it is very critical that the results will only start appearing post 3 months. So that period is required not just for setting up your new ideas, new thought processes in the minds of people, but also to start seeing real impact that is happening, outcome-based impact happening on customers and on metrics,
Yeah,
right?
agree. Yeah, definitely that 3 months period is needed to thoroughly understand and come with an impact. Yeah.
Yes. And only on by 6 months or post 3 months period, you will start seeing needles moving. Whatever you're measuring based on your outcome, you will start seeing that, okay, now it is showing progress. So you
Yeah.
have to keep that time of 0 to 6 months in place just to begin.
By any scenario, do you see the customer could not wait for these 3 months also?
This was like internal customers, right? So it was happening, it was a finance ops team earlier. Then we renamed them that entire org to finance um, experience team, financial product experience team. So looking at that, our internal processes were happening simultaneously. It was just a shift in mindset and
Okay.
what we are, what we are measuring and what value we are trying to create. So everything was running in parallel, nothing stopped. It was not
Yeah.
an external product. It was in the organization. I can't take the name. I was almost telling you the name. So internally in the organization, they came in and we started, transitioning this product into a new agile way of working, actually.
Yeah. Because that's fetching advantage for them because you are doing simultaneously, you're not stopping anything. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you for
Thank
answering.
you very much.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, Varna.
Thank you, Ravi. Uh, so please take a minute for filling the feedback session. And if yes, please follow the social media handles and all the sessions will be uploaded to YouTube. So if you miss something or if you want to recap, please go ahead and check the social media handles, check the YouTube there. And with this, we are ending the session. Thank you. Thank you so much for the good participation and helping the session went well.
Yeah, Rasagnal, you want to ask people to come on video so we can take a
Yeah.
peek?
Sure, 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 sure. Yeah, everyone, please enable your video cam so we can have a quick group photo, digital selfie.
One quick question. By any way, this recording will be saved, Varma or Shiva?
This recording will be uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, YouTube. You can follow the PMIPCC chapter Hyderabad, and you can go through there and you can check. It will be uploaded in a week, not immediately, but yeah, please allow some time to get on it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So please enable your cameras. Shiva, you are clicking the photo.
Yeah, one moment. I'm just taking the picture. One moment, please.
Yes, sure. I've taken that.
Yeah. Thank you all. And thanks,
Sure, you should
Fatima.
have said ready.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can say, why take one more? Yeah, ready?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one more,
let's
one more.
go.
Ready. Cheese.
Cheese. Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you all. Thank
Thanks
you very
all.
much for
Thanks.
joining
Thank you.
in the morning. Thank you.
Bye.
Rasagnal, we have the member talk.
No.
Okay, then thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
everyone. Bye.